Ever heard the expression done is better than perfect? Yeah, it is. But let me add that good enough is perfectly acceptable because sometimes you just can't or should not go for perfect. Let's talk about why you should instantly stop chasing perfection. Hi, my name is Miloš, and I've been living a SaaS life for over a decade. I did many things wrong, and I did some things right. On this channel, I speak passionately about the human side of building and running software as a service, hoping this will help the other me's in the world. If this is something that interests you, please consider subscribing. Our topic today is perfection and perfectionism. I was going to name this one The Curse of Perfectionism, but then I might have to admit that I'm, cursed. When you've had your fair share of challenges, sometimes, actually all the time, you'll probably come to the same realization that I have. A solution that is good enough is acceptable. And when it's acceptable, I mean, do it. It's not perfect, I know, but it's fine. It's not exactly what you wanted, I know, but it's fine. Doesn't it often happen that you sit down with your team to brainstorm? You need to solve something, you need to build or improve a feature, a workflow, but the overall solution looks fairly complex. Let me help you out there. You don't need complex solutions. My experience shows that they always create more challenges, ending up with us chasing even more complex solutions in our crusade for perfection. If you're technical, you pretty much know what I'm talking about. Just think technical debt, the pain. The best kind of solutions I've seen and were able to achieve myself were a result of the optimization function, not the maximization function. Let me explain. You don't just want maximum results. You want maximum results achievable with minimum effort. For example, I've been an Aikido practitioner for years, and even though the martial art has been getting a lot of hate recently, thank you, Stephen, I've witnessed myself how real masters of the art literally make the smallest, often unseen moves that make people basically defeat themselves. Yeah, minimum effort creating maximum impact. It's the kind of solution we should all be looking for all the time. Another way to explain this is simply from experience. Tap into your past work and think about the biggest, meanest problems you've ever encountered. I bet you'll find that many of them are very simple, almost mundane, like everyday solutions. Being in charge of software engineers and being one myself, I have to say, we all tend to fall into this trap of building, overbuilding, and refactoring, rebuilding glamorous technical solutions, which will yield some nice patting on the back from our peers, but can also create some serious waste of time and effort, where focus could have been on some more impactful things. Just so we're clear, this trait is not reserved for engineers. There's no immunity to the curse of overbuilding. You just have to avoid picking it up or dispel it as soon as someone notices, because let's face it, you're not going to notice. Hit that like button if you find my ideas good enough, and please make sure to subscribe to SAAS Life to keep this baby rolling. Thanks. Many times, you'll be in a position where you can't afford the perfect solution you want. Meaning you either lack the time or people or finances to pull something off. A solution that is acceptable is obviously better than no solution, wouldn't you agree? Nothing stops you from improving this down the road. But if you don't solve a challenge just in time or just early on, it might return and bite you in the behind later on. All I have to do to slap myself when dreaming about perfection is simply to visualize all the damn backlogs of important things that got left behind because the solution was just too damn expensive. And looking back, man, there were some easy wins there I've missed in the form of simple solves because, the curse of perfection. And in retrospect, I can safely say it costs more to not apply simpler solutions than not to solve things. But hey, all you have to do is remember all those times you didn't do something. You didn't launch a podcast, didn't start a project, didn't say something you wanted to a loved one just because timing wasn't perfect. Your hair wasn't perfect. Your blah, blah, blah wasn't perfect. I know. My wife is a damn perfectionist and she keeps not doing things because it's just not the perfect whatever. She cute though. And yeah, done is obviously better than perfect when you don't actually do anything. Take all of the above into perspective. Everything I said about perfection and scale it. Make it span across a time period you'd consider significant. Is it sustainable? Is it sustainable to keep chasing perfection? No, of course not. It's keeping you from delivering good enough, and good enough is acceptable and it moves the needle. And you won't get the time back. No. You've likely spent so much time on just designing perfect solutions that you didn't even have the damn time to actually sit down and implement it. Think about it. It's not a sustainable model. Striving for perfection is delusional because nothing will ever be good enough. We should just aim for better and not perfect, because if you think about it, it's imperfection that actually allows us to grow in a sustainable way. I've heard people say aim for excellence. I don't disagree. But when we're talking about SaaS, software as a service, I think about it, better is good enough, and good enough is perfectly acceptable. Finally, here's a formula for you. How do you decide if you should go for solutions that are not perfect, not really what you want, but are good enough? If it gets the job done, and you can prevent wasting time, adding complexities, adding dependencies into your product or workflows, go for it. Do it. Of course, it's up to you and your team and your customers, wink wink, to define what's good enough. You need to pick your battles carefully. Software as a service has to be customer driven, or it will likely die in a fiery pit of doom. But I bet if you apply this formula, you will quickly realize that perfection is actually irrelevant. We don't all have to kill ourselves to build the perfect product, perfect customer service, perfect internal processes, workflows, perfect social presence. Does it bring value to the end user? Does the user perceive it as value? Are they going to pay for it? Yeah, that's what's important, not perfection. Instead of helping you achieve more, perfectionism often results in you achieving nothing and leaves you feeling like you're never quite there when you achieve less. Simply because, let's face it, you never actually know what perfect is. At best, you can only assume. So, rather than doing it perfectly, we could all just focus on doing it better. And iteration by iteration, one better step after another, we'll actually get somewhere, maybe even quicker, and it will be more fulfilling than we ever imagined. Perfection sucks. Stop chasing it. Hit that like button and let me know in the comment section what you think about this topic. Feel free to share this with a perfectionist you know. And also make sure to subscribe to SAAS Life for more. See you soon.